I'm gonna go on a hike. Let's just hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't rain. Because this week, we are hiking up one of Thailand's steepest trails in the middle of the monsoon season to camp in the pine meadows of Phu Soi Dao. The rainy season is the only time of year that you can see Phu Soi Dao's beautiful Crested Naga wildflowers in bloom. So sometimes you just have to take the risk of getting a little bit wet.
Come and join us as we hike to the pine meadows of Phu Soi Dao.
Early morning at Phu Soi Dao National Park. I can't say that the entire crew was happy with the early wake-up, but the weather looked good and we had plans.
So we're going up a mountain to a hike, and we're gonna camp on this nice place with grass. Let's just hope it doesn't rain.
Rain was a reasonable concern. We'd spent the previous day in the Khao Kha Mountains, which had been very wet. This was, after all, the monsoon season. But as we made the 3-hour drive north almost all the way to the Laos border, I was really hoping we'd get a break in the weather.
I'm gonna go on a hike. I'm gonna camp too.
Things looked pretty good as we climbed into the back of a Song Tao to make the short trip to the trailhead. One thing was becoming very obvious, though. There were no other kids. There wasn't even anyone younger than 25. Was this hike hard? It definitely starts off easy. A gentle incline that runs through jungle. Lots of banana trees growing alongside the small stream that forms the Phu Soi Dao Waterfall. It was dry, flat, shaded, and cool. Kids were loving it.
This part of the hike was really easy. It wasn't even a little bit hot.
Until we could walk, until Mummy fell through a bridge.
Mom helped me when I was tired. Oh, Henry, look, a fly.
We were feeling very confident as we approached the 2-kilometer mark.
How are we feeling?
Good.
Good. But it was not long after this break that the trail began to climb a lot more steeply. Phu Soi Dao is not a long walk. It's only about 6.5 kilometers each way, but in the last 2/3 of the hike, the trail climbs by nearly 1 kilometer vertically. That's a 25% gradient, and when you have tiny little legs, that, my friend, is steep. Despite the climb, some of the kids still seem to have plenty of energy. Others, not quite as much.
The trail was really steep, and the roots were trying to trip us, but it was okay. So we're having a hike. So far we've gone, I think, 2 kilometers.
Yeah, 4?
4.
How do we feel?
Great.
How do you feel, Henry?
Great.
The riverside walk through the jungle was long behind us. We were now walking along the ridge high above it. Banana trees and bamboo turned to birch and oak, and then grass and fern. And the sound of wind replaced the sound of water.
Well, I think that my kids, who are just here, have done a fabulous job. No one's needed to be carried. And we've come all the way from down there.
And let me swan you, big baby.
We had one final push over something called Death Hill. Then a relatively easy level walk through the bush for another kilometer or so. And at last we arrived at a broad plateau where we caught our first glimpse of Phu Soi Dao's cassia pines, shrouded in mist.
This is so cold. I don't want to swim in it. Cold. Yeah. It will never stink.
To protect the flowers and trees, campers are confined to a small corner of the meadow, where a reasonably large tent city springs up every weekend.
So here I'm just waiting for some omelets that I've ordered, kai jiao. So normally the kids are a little bit resistant to eating these, but they've just gobbled up 3 and I'm ordering 3 more.
I'm not cold.
How it's only 15 degrees.
So, it doesn't mean that you have to be cold. You're cold, I don't have to be cold. I want it to always be 15 degrees.
We'd reserved 2 of the national park tents and arrived to find it all set up and waiting for us. Oh. With a few hours left before sunset, we decided to try to find the Paa Son Waterfall, which we'd heard was nearby. We followed what we thought was the right trail and, as you sometimes do, ended up accidentally crossing the border into Laos.
Thailand. And I'm in Thailand, I'm in Laos. I'm in both.
2 countries at the same time?
I'm in Thailand, I'm in Laos. I'm in Laos, I'm in Thailand.
Safely back in the country for which we actually had visas, we found the right trail. It's the one with the red blazes. And we made the steep and slippery climb down to the river. Paa Son is a multi-level waterfall famous for the thick blanket of moss that covers everything along its course. It's a lovely scene, even in the failing light of an overcast day.
Whatever happens, I'm getting a bug.
Back at the tents, we settled into camp life. Along with our other camping gear, we received a bucket?
This was for the toilets. You fill a bucket with water and use it to flush the toilet when you're done.
That's okay.
If you didn't have your bucket, you couldn't go to the bathroom.
As the campers beneath us carried buckets back and forth, settling in for the night, the clouds finally began to break. In the first true light we'd seen all day, the meadow looked even more magical than it had in the mists.
fell hike. I just want to get some sleep. I'm making it even longer. I'm making it super long. I went on a long hike and it was fun. And my family came too. You know, I wasn't reading it. I was just looking at the paper. I just memorized it. Mom, look.
The kids were absolute champs on the hike down, even taking turns carrying a couple of small bags. After a few tricky sections climbing off the ridge, we were back down to the river valley, and another kilometer or two we had finished the hike. I don't think I'd be exaggerating at all if I said that it was not just a highlight of this road trip, it would be a highlight of our 3 years in Thailand altogether. Just such a magical place, and so much fun to get to.
Charlie, can I get a high five? Finishing your walk?
Yeah, good. Coming up next, we finally cross into Isan proper with a visit to charming Chiang, right on the banks of the Mekong River. We check out this very cool little town and visit some of its more unusual sights too. Like a temple filled with hundreds of rabbits. You won't want to miss it, so be sure to subscribe and come along with us. Thanks for watching. See you next time.